Alright guys, so good morning by the way. Alright, so today I decided to make this video. The topic is on it really, it's how to figure out what car you would like to buy with a budget of maybe, let's say, $5,000. The way you start off with that is simple. You get a list of cars, some that you may want to buy. Let's say if it's your first car and you're looking to, let's say you're looking to spend like $5,000 on a sports car, right? Or yeah, let's go with that for now. If you're looking to spend like $5,000 on a sports car, what you want to do first is, you want to think of a couple sports cars that you may want to buy, and the way you do that is, considering most sports cars are rear-wheel drive, what you want to do is you want to be able to, most of you guys in the north already figured this out, you want to look at the fact that how it'll handle in the snow, because a lot of times a lot of you won't be able to drive it in the snow because of the fact that it's rear-wheel drive, or you would need a good set of snow tires. So yeah, first thing you want to look at is how it'll handle in the winter. A lot of cars you should actually look at that specific reason for it. Pretty much what you want to do is, once you figure that out, once you figure out a good cars that handle well in the winter. I know the Subaru, the WRXs, they handle really well. And they're actually pretty cheap. Some of them are, you could actually get a really good used one if you look around hard enough, and it's not really that hard to look. You could get a really good used one for under $5,000, or at least you'd be able to pull out a loan and put a $5,000 down payment on one and pay off the rest of it within a couple of years or so, or like a 1 or 2 year loan, maybe a 4-year loan, depending on what type of Subaru you buy. You can't go wrong with them. I've seen other ones, like let's say a Volkswagen GTI. A lot of those are front wheel drive. Those are also pretty decent for as a sports car. I know the newer ones are ridiculously quick because I've driven a couple of them, and I've seen a couple of them go on a track. They're ridiculous, and they don't have as much power as, actually, what am I saying? They do have just as much power as a lot of these sports cars, but the thing is, they're on the lighter side, so their curb weight is on the lighter side, so they don't need as much power. They could still run on 3/4 of that power of, let's say, a 370Z, and they'll keep up with it. It's not actually taken like the new Golf R's. Those things are ridiculous. You put a supercharger on one of those, and that thing will fly. And that thing is all-wheel drive, so, because I know the newer Golfs are all-wheel drive. But they're front-wheel drive based, but they're all-wheel drive, and they're insane. If you guys are looking for a good car, I would say a $5,000 budget. Get a list of cars. What you want to do is you want to look and see how they'll perform in the winter. You also want to look at their stats, like their specs and stuff. So this way you can get a good idea how they'll perform on the track. just because it says it on paper doesn't mean it's actually that quick. Every driver is different. So some may actually be quicker with it, some may actually be slower. So you want to take that into consideration as well. What you want to do is, once you figure that out, you can go from there, whether you want to buy it or not. Once you get that list of cars, you see which one you think is the best, and then from there you just you actually go around and obviously search for it. But keep in mind, you don't just search for one car. I would still keep that list and see about searching for deals on those cars as well, because you never know, you may actually find a really good deal for a car that you're not hoping really to buy as much, but you'd still buy it. You may want to keep that in mind. I know my dream car is obviously a car that's not available here in the US, so the only way to get it is to import it and bring it here. But the thing is, most of the time it's a lot of people bring this car illegally, and it's very difficult. It's actually an R34 GTR, and most people I know have this dream car as well. Honestly, I've seen a couple. Actually, one out in different countries, and I just happened to run into a couple of them. They're ridiculous. And yeah, so I've always loved that car. I've actually seen it in person, and they're just awesome. Overall, they're just gorgeous. They're a lot more beautiful in person than they are in the pictures. So they're insane. I know they're insane. That's kind of why I bought one. Not bought one, but like that's kind of why I want to buy one. Sorry, I wish I bought one. But also, this also applies into if you want to buy like a luxury car as well. If you're looking to buy something that's either your everyday car, if you're looking for something that's more luxurious and not really as sporty, you may want to consider the fact that how it'll handle in the winter time if you do have to drive it in the winter. What type of gas mileage you could expect. You still may want to know how much horsepower it's getting out of it, because it's a factor that most people won't really pay attention to, but it's something that most people would like to hear, or at least know about. So I would say look into that stuff as well. Now, if you're looking into more of the luxurious side, another thing you may want to consider is how much room you have in it, and even in sports cars too. You may want to consider how much room you have in the cabin with you inside, even in the passenger seat or back seat, or even driving it, or even if you have a back seat. You may want to look into that stuff as well, because sometimes you're going to have to take people that are huge, and you may not have enough room for them, so you may want to consider that as well. So yeah, you may want to look into that kind of stuff. You don't have to go into detail looking at ground clearance and stuff. You just want to look at the basic things. Keep in mind, it's your first car, the thing you're going to say, oh, I want this, this, and this, but I want to buy this car, I want to do this to it, I want to do that, I'm going to put this on coilovers or something. and most people don't really get that right away. They kind of don't get the fact that people don't just go out and spend the money on it. Most people will just buy a car just to get around, because that's even like what I did. Honestly, yeah, I've had this car for a while, but the thing is, I never modded it until, I want to say, after owning it for a couple of years. I didn't start modifying it until after a couple of years of driving it around. I drove it around as a daily, bone stock totally, and still never did anything to it. Yeah, obviously I had my fun with it while I was driving, and obviously I'm still having my fun with it. And but yeah, I didn't really mod it until afterwards, like after a couple years. So I mean, I will be posting a video on what I did to my car. It's quite a lot, so you're gonna have to give me some time before I post it up. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, post them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. If you guys like this video and think that other people should see it, just pass it around and do whatever you want to do with it. Share it, and yeah, have a great day. See you guys.